Okay, it's that time of the week. Let's get it. Indeed. Man talk, man talk, man talk, man talk, man talk central. That's what we're doing here. 4 dudes out of the mud, now we're ruling here. We give it to you, deliver like Amazon. You're listening to Kings and Champions. No matter what we're talking about, we're gonna give it to you straight, man, no doubt. No doubt. Hey yo, we on our way to greatness. God's got our back, so chill and relax. This is Man Talk Central. Welcome back to another episode of Man Talk Central. Let's get it.
Righty. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Man Talk Central. This podcast is all about experience perspectives, right? Wrong or indifferent, you will get it raw and uncut. Before I go any further, please like and follow us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and or email us at the address below. Now, let me introduce you to some and present the others, 3 brothers like no other. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing today for this episode?
Morning, Ed Taylor.
Good morning. I used to be DJ Eddie T, but now I guess I'm official. Good morning, y'all. I hope all is well. Thank you for joining us.
I was squinting and couldn't see it. And Colonel Esquire, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, gang. Appreciate everybody. Let's get into it.
3 the law-abiding citizens. So today's topics, we'll get into relationships, politics, and family. So with relationships, how do you repair, keep communication going with your spouse? Second one, politics, reason gas prices are going up. Some of y'all staying home a little bit too much because you can't afford to pay at the pump. It's all good. Family, if something was to happen to you today, would everything be in order? Would family members have to scramble to get things taken care of? So we're going to start with relationships with Thunder Dan. Talk to us. How do you repair and keep communication going with your spouse?
It's an everyday thing. It's an ongoing thing, First starting out, everybody has the highs of, butterflies in your stomach going from there. And then as relationships go on, things kind of settle down. I'm not going to say fizzle out, but kind of settle down. But it's not easy, It's trying to be open, trying to communicate the best that you can because you never know what that other person's thinking. And a lot of times it's just you're just on that journey trying to figure out with your significant other which way you want to go and which way you want your relationship to go. That's how I pretty much feel about it. Everybody has a different type of relationship or a different type of feeling that your significant other pretty much got with you because of the person you are. And yeah, there are things that you can change to make your relationship better. So the more open communication you have with your spouse, the better off you're going to be in your relationship, and you'll be able to figure things out from there.
And good stuff. DJ Eddie T.
All right. I'm no expert on relationships or anything of that nature. What my wife and I try to do is, like, if there's a certain situation, we try to sit down and just, discuss it. As Dan stated in the beginning, it's, the honeymoon stage, you still have the butterflies, but then it's my lovely little wife would say, life be lifing. So when that occurs, you have to get down to the nitty gritty. You have to, like, hey, okay, let's discuss this. Let's see what's going on. I mean, at times, I know me as a man, you want to fix everything. And sometimes the way we want to fix everything doesn't always necessarily mean that it's right for the family. It might be right for you, but it might not be right for the family. So we've learned to talk to each other and, like I said, try to keep that communication open and, of course, not hide things from one another and just basically do a daily check as opposed to how was your day? No, for real, how was your day? What were the ups? What were the downs of your day? How do you cope with certain things. And I'm not saying that every day we have a specific topic and to where, that there needs to be a powwow at the dinner table or anything like that, but it's just a daily check-in. And I feel that that has truly helped us with keeping communication open. And, once, say, I won't call it a spat, but, when you have a disagreement with your spouse, you, you come back and you check and you say, hey, is everything okay? Did you get everything out? And, go from there. But I mean, we've done pretty well so far. I know we've only been, well, it's coming up on 2 years, and but things are rocking on, and I'm excited about it. I'm glad that we can communicate with one another, and she compliments me on being a communicative person. So, um, I just want to continue to do that and help her in every way that I can possibly help her. But again, to answer your question, how do we keep it going? We just have to be open with one another, talk to each other, and you know, be transparent.
Outstanding. Colonel Esquire.
All right. All right. So that is a loaded question with a whole bunch of rabbit holes that we could go down into. So I'm going to try to be as specific as possible. But man, we could talk about this for several episodes. But I guess the first thing I'm going to say is, and I know that I've been very guilty to this, because what I thought was leadership was not leadership. And so the first thing I would say is that for us as men and men in general, we got to lead our house. We got to lead our house. All right. And so I personally feel like the downfall of society has been partly because of a lack of leadership in our family household. And so as men, our main responsibility is to lead the house. Now, does that mean, bow, knee, yield, and rule with an iron fist? No, absolutely not. But I'm just saying a lot of times, and I'll give you an example, I've been married a long time. And a lot of times I would just want to keep the peace. So I would just go with anything and everything just to keep the peace, because what's the old saying? Happy wife, happy life. Well, that situation doesn't always apply and shouldn't always apply. And it gets to the point when there's a decision that has to be made, or you're at a crossroads and you've agreed with everything and been compliant with everything. Then when you push back, it's a problem. So I think a mistake that I made early on was just trying to be agreeable, because I just wanted to come home and get some peace and chill, right? But you can't always do that. And so leadership takes on an assertive role sometimes. Um, so I would say to us men, we got to do that. Now, does that mean to come home and smack your wife upside the head and, do what I say and, eat the cake anime and all that kind of stuff? No, I'm not saying all that. You know what I'm saying?
Can I have your autograph, Miss Turner? Mrs. Turner, that's a married woman you talking to, boy. So when are you going to make another single, Mrs. Turner?
Who knows, There you go.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
All right. Bye-bye.
Some bullshit, man. You're supposed to be celebrating. Now, come on, man.
All right, we supposed to be celebrating, I guess. I can see the Turner Review. Finna go on tour with the Rolling Stones. There you go. Yeah, we're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate. Hey, can we get some of that cake? Matter of fact, bring that whole cake over here. Yeah, let's have some cake. Come on, please. Look at it. Come on, bring us some plates. Get rid of this. Please. All right. Come on, let's see. Yeah. Don't that look good? Come on, man.
All I want to take.
Come on, just up here.
Come on, Ike.
What's the matter, baby?
You high. You embarrassing.
Oh, come on now. Open your mouth. See that white man asked her to open your mouth. She sang all goddamn day long. I asked you, ain't gonna say nothing now. Come on now, I'm asking you nice.
And I'm saying no nice. Ike, come on.
Some of this cake. Come on. Eat some cake. Yeah. Oh, see, you done lost some motherfucking mind.
Leave her alone, Ike.
Huh? Come on. Come on, bitch. Get up. Huh? Come on. Get up.
Fuck you, Ike.
I'm out of here. Come on.
Fuck you, Ike. I'm out of here. You ain't got to hit me but once. Jackie, it's all right. It is not all right to let some motherfucker pound on you. If you had any sense, you get out of here too.
You have me. Shit, you the fuck out of here.
Kiss my ass. You a dead woman if you stay here.
And don't let me catch you around my house either. Come on, sit down and eat some cake, Anna, man. Fuck y'all looking at? Oh, just mind your goddamn business. Ain't somebody come in here and clean this shit up, please? God damn, Frost, this cake good. Anime, come on. This cake real good. Anime, just take the cake, please.
What I am saying is sometimes you got to draw a line in the sand. Sometimes you got to put your foot down, but that doesn't necessarily mean an aggressive way. Okay. And that kind of segues into my next topic, which is pride, because most of us men are very prideful, you know? And so pride. And even the Bible says pride goes before the fall. You know, we can't, if we know that we're wrong, or if we know that we need to apologize, I think that's one of the hardest things for people to do is to say, I'm sorry.
Everybody needs a little time away. I heard to say from each other. Even lovers need a holiday. Far away from each other. Oh, now it's hard for me to say I'm sorry.
Right. And a lot of times, us as men, leadership means taking the high road. And there's a lot of times I've taken the high road and I hated taking the high road. I did not want to do it because it was ridiculous, right? But at the end of the day, doing the right thing is to apologize, swallow your pride, communication, working things out, establishing boundaries, you know, and moving forward instead of just kind of sitting on something. You know, DJ Eddie T told me something years ago, and it's always stuck with me. I'll never forget it. You know, when a person holds on to resentment or animosity, it's like drinking a glass of poison and expecting that other person to die from it. You know, and a lot of times, us being prideful and us holding that in, it's not hurting anybody but ourselves. And so a lot of us men, I think, we need to swallow our pride and kind of move forward and communicate, which segments into the last topic I have, subtopic, which is love. We have to love our wives, and loving our wives means work. Being married is hard work. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my lifetime, bar none. I mean, and we've all accomplished a lot, but love means work. And a lot of times, you're not going to have that lovey-dovey feeling with your spouse. A lot of times you're going to walk in the house, you're going to look at it sideways, you know, want to leave the house, get in the car, and just drive till you run out of gas sometimes because you don't want to be around there. But love means work. And so, you know, I try to make it a personal goal not to go to bed angry, even though I failed at that many times. But it's just hard work. I mean, you've been with somebody a long time. You know, a lot of people get caught up with what we see in the news and movies and music or whatever. Like, it's not always love or romance when you're in a relationship. You know, once all that fades, then what do you have? So, you know, I think it's a lot of like Dan and DJ LT said, you got to communicate, you got to be open. You know, you got to set the boundaries. You got to figure out what's going on. What is the issue? If you don't know what the issue is, why are you arguing? And I just think as men, we just really need to just take hold of our households and lead our houses.
Outstanding. Well, look, first and foremost, echoing every comment that was stated. What I will say is sometimes people are products of their environment, right? So their method of communicating is probably what they grew up around. And then as they get into a relationship, the maturity sets in and they start realizing, oh, damn, you know, she does have a good point, or he does have a good point, right? I will speak personally. I've been married twice. The first marriage, a version of leadership was, since I was the breadwinner, like, yo, hey, you know, I'm a 24/7 type of, well, you know, being a soldier, 24/7. I didn't want to hear about all the problems, whatever. You know, tell me what the situation is and let me just solve it, right? But that's not really communicating. So as I matured and, you know, having different types of relationships, I started realizing that I needed to use a little bit of active listening, right? Just, be on the receiving end and let that person get everything out. Because sometimes they may not want you to solve it. Sometimes they just want you to just listen to them, right? And then I said, going into this marriage, which I just got married this past summer, we have certain days that whereas whether it's we take a walk or whether we just sit in the kitchen, look at each other funny, or go to a movie, go get some popcorn, go do something, and we just talk. And I think it all evolves around maturity. And when you love someone, right, you're willing to do whatever. You want to um, have active listening. You want to be that pillar for that person to lean on. And so, I'm just thankful that through all my experiences, I've been able to use damn near everything that you guys have stated. And, you know, I use active listening, I realize that it's a team, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm the man of the household, but, I'm not strong if my wife's not strong, So, it's interesting. Go ahead, DJ.
One thing that I have to say that my wife has taught me, she'll say, "Hey, I want to talk to you about something." And what she'll do is she'll say, "Hey, I just want you to listen. I'm not looking for a response. I just want you to listen." And that has taught me to, I guess, it has trained me to, because like you said, sometimes they just want us to be a sounding board. It's not necessarily an issue about you and I. It could be an issue at work. It could be an issue at church. It could be an issue, in the world. And so when we get to the point to where we're just like, okay, once you've, switch gears or channels and say, "Oh, okay, so I'm just listening." I think it takes a lot of pressure off of you, because I've noticed that when she wants to talk to me about something, I'm listening, but then again, I'm also trying to see how I'm going to respond. So I'm not giving it 100% listen, listen, listen. I'm giving it maybe 70-30. Okay, how am I going to respond to this? You know what I mean? We have to get to the point in life to where we can adjust. Like Colonel Esquire stated, it's a pride thing, and we have to just become, I guess, more palatable to where we can, be what they need us to be, but also they need to be what we need them to be as well. And it can't just be us always changing and whatnot. But again, Colonel Esquire, you stated it. I mean, we could do episodes year after year after year on this particular subject. Anyway, I just wanted to share that, and maybe that's something that you guys could, utilize in your home and say, "Hey, babe, I want to talk to you, but I'm not looking for, a response. I just want to bounce this off of you."
Gotcha. I see you, Dan.
Yeah, another thing too, and since you brought it up, maturity is a big issue with it. Um, it takes a while to actually, once you first start out, you're gonna grow together. Well, you would hope you would grow together, and you'll both mature together. I think a lot of it has to do with being able to be open to talk about things, because outside influences can ruin your inside relationship. And it's a lot of the people that you may be around, and it took me a while to realize this, aren't always good for you, and they can lead you down the wrong path, which can help destroy your relationship. Your significant other should be your backbone, should be the one that's putting you in check, saying, "Hey, this person ain't good for you." And I thank goodness I have a wife that's strong enough to tell me that and to point me in the right direction, because I could have been down the wrong path a long time ago. When you got these people that are outside influences that aren't really there for your best interest. So hopefully you find a significant other where you can have that kind of open relationship and do your own checks and balances within your own house to make sure that you are headed down the right direction.
Exactly, exactly. It's funny you speak about the exterior people that you have in your life. Like I think I have a very tight, unique circle. Some people will always say that, yeah, I got 3 or 4 good friends. Man, I got about 12 to 15 good brothers. Everybody's married, right? There's no single cats. And So when I first met my wife and she realized, she was like, dang, you know quite a few people. I say, I know quite a few people, but there's only certain people that I really deal with, that I really know. And their wives kind of know me, right? They know me from everything, from the rooter to the tutor. And but it does take a strong woman to deal with, personalities like ours, right? And I group us four into that. So, give kudos to the wives who are dealing with our stuff. I wanted to say the other word, but I know Colonel Esquire only has 5 minutes this week to edit, so I won't say shit. Oh, my bad. But any other closing comments for communication with the lovely ladies, the spouses?
Yeah, I just want to chime in real quick one more time, dealing with the pride situation. Dan said it best, you know, that's also a part of leadership, swallowing your pride. If your wife is telling you, hey, this ain't the best situation for you, or these people ain't good for you, your spouse is your helpmate, right? You guys are a partnership. You got to run it like a business also too. So if you're not willing to listen to her when she's right, and she's right a lot of the times, that's a pride issue that you gotta take into consideration, because she's there to help you be a better person. And I know me personally, I would not be in the situation I'm in if it were not for my wife. She's helped me and guided me through a lot of this stuff. That's a key part of leadership, knowing, when to lead, knowing when to take a step back, knowing when to make a decision, knowing when to listen, this discernment. And so a lot of us men, especially nowadays, we have trouble doing that. Um, and a big thing is, I don't know what it is this generation, but man, we got to go to work. I don't know what the deal is with people not working. You see what I'm saying? And I hate to break it to us, you gentlemen out there, but who was it? Chris Rock or somebody said that women and children, they always gonna be loved, but men, you're only gonna be based on what you contribute. You can't be sitting at home.
Only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. Women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. A man is only loved under the condition that he provides something. Okay? I've never heard a woman in my life say, after he got laid off, we got so much closer. No. I once heard my grandmother say, a broke man is like a broke hand. Can't do nothing with it. What kind of gangster shit is that?
You got to get to work. And I don't, it's not about IBM or got to be CEO. You could be working faster with it, don't matter. But you have to be working, contributing, especially if you have kids. Because what kind of example are you setting with your kids and you sitting at home? You know what I'm saying? You gotta be at work. You gotta get out there and make it happen. And again, I'm not talking about income, because there's a lot of people with great amount of income and still in debt because they can't manage their money. I'm saying just contributing to the house and being that role model, especially if you got kids. But that's a whole nother soapbox for another episode. My bad, y'all.
Too easy. DJ Eddie T.
No, you're good, Colonel Esquire. I was just going to say, I've had many thoughts in the last 30 seconds, but the key thing is, again, going back to pride. We married a person who we felt as if was our teammate. So if we were, as we always talk about the Lakers and the Bulls and all of that, I know that there are squabbles on the team, but at the end of the day, their goal is to hold up that trophy. So if we keep that same mentality, no matter what, we might not want to go to practice. We might not want to run the rush, but we still, at the end of the day, we want to hold that trophy up over our head. Yeah. So I just kind of wanted to, throw that in. It's like we have to look at our spouses as teammates, and they're not against us. They're for us. And we all have the same goal, and that's to be successful.
Man, it feels good to be doing this again. Reliving the days of my youth. I haven't had this much fun in a long time. Colonel Esquire, also go by GIBSON. FMG on the mic. It goes 1, 2, uno, dos. If I ain't the best man, I gotta be close. Best thing since sliced bread, I gotta be toast. I'm a soldier, always guard the limits of my post. Yep, Man Talk Central. I'm one of your hosts. I'm on point, precise with the poetry and prose, making the grade like it's the end of the semester. I'm the crown flow, always under the weather, but I don't need a booster shot. I like my bar 6 so the music's hot. Delivering the kill shot, coup de grace. You know I stay fly, fuselage, stay fly.
Exactly. So, folks out there, just remember good communication prevents surprises in a relationship, just like tracking gas prices prevents surprises at the pump. So, that's the second conversation. Let's talk about it, DJ Eddie T.
I love that segue, sir. That was you've been practicing. Uh,
I'm trying to use these tools all around me, man. Trying to use
I
these
know
tools.
it. I know it. Well, yeah, I guess a couple of weeks ago, I just, I don't know if you guys have Circle K Valero, but we have a combination convenience store down our way. So, I get this little discount card. They give them away every 3 or 4 months. So you get 10 cents off per gallon. And, they may have certain specials to where, today, if it's $2.79 a gallon, if you come at this time on this particular day, it might be $1.80. I mean, it's crazy. But anyway, I pay close attention to fuel prices. I mean, I just remember that from my transportation days, diesel. And that's what I drive. I drive diesel trucks. One day, I'll go and it's $2.79. The next day I'll go as $3.89. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? The next day you go it's $4.19. And, on the way up here, I saw $4.79. I saw $5.10. And I'm thinking like, diesel being the cheapest to make, why is it the most expensive? So that prompted me to, just kind of look up some stuff. And I don't know if it was one of our episodes or if I heard someone say it, but they're shutting down a particular passageway for oil to get through. And I want to, give us props. I think it was us that stated that, but it's like, why is everything going up here so much though? And also being that we have reserves, I know it's more than an ocean just to, get into your reserves. It's not like, oh, okay, well, they're having a war or whatever. They don't want us to have oil. Let's just open up our reserves. It's like for years and years and years, we've built up reserves. So why can't we use them in times of need for our, community? Because you have so many people out there that are struggling anyway. But then to put extremely high fuel prices on people, I think that's unfair and unfortunate when we can do something about it. But I guess, again, the main reason why is because of, transportation issues and having to go further and all of that good stuff. But I did research or make a little note. It said gas prices have risen due to a combination of seasonal demand, higher oil costs, and supply constraints. Key factors include the shift to more expensive summer blend fuel. I don't understand that. I mean, we don't get, every summer I know when people are going, gas will ease up a little bit, but, it says increased driving during spring break, geopolitical tensions impacting global oil supplies, and maintenance related refinery outages. Some of that I believe, some of it I don't. I just think that some higher being, I won't say higher being because people want to refer to God as a higher being. I'll say our upper government or whatever just wants to stick it to us. That's just my feel. And I get like Dan, because Dan will just come right out, hey, that's my feel. I won't talk about it anymore. But I'm just saying, I just feel as if sometimes that they just want to stick it to us because there's really no reason why the cheapest thing to make is the most expensive. So that's me.
Outstanding, Colonel Esquire.
Well, I guess the long story short is, so is not necessarily, it's a global commodity. when something happens, it's going to affect everybody. So the war here, or I don't know if it's a war yet, but the conflict with Iran and us, or whatever the case is, you know, a lot of people are concerned about what's going to happen to the oil, which is the reason why the gas prices have gone up. And on top of that, in this particular case, Iran is controlling the Strait of Hormuz, right? That's what you were alluding to earlier, BJ. So, and 30% of the oil, of the world's oil, goes through that little canal. So, um, Iran's trying to cut off supplies and kind of control that straightway, So it's like, yeah, that's why it's being affected at this point. Now, I know that a few years ago, I think it was 3-4 years ago, when was um, the last administration said that the war with Russia and Ukraine was the reason that gas prices shot up to $5 a gallon. Again, I don't know if I really take much stock in that to their point. Oil is a global commodity. So anytime something happens, particularly with conflict or something dealing with other countries, it's going to jump up. It may not spike up that high, but it's going to fluctuate. And as far as with the U.S., I mean, of course, we have a bunch of reserves that we're not going to touch that we easily could. And I know there's been times when we've opened our reserves in order to alleviate gas prices, but I don't know. I'm assuming with this administration, we're not going to do that. We're going to do everything we can to use somebody else's oil and keep our reserves for ourselves. But as far as gas prices being so high, yes, it typically goes high during the foreign travel months or whatever the case is. But I know there was a few years ago where, bottle of gas was pretty cheap. It was like, I think around $2.50. I'll research it and put that in the clip or whatever, the actual stats. But I know it was low. I mean, life was good back then. You could drive anywhere. Yeah, you could get your 8 cylinders and be proud to drive on the road back then. But now, it's struggling. So I know I have. You guys ever heard of Murphy USA? They're usually hanging around Walmarts. So I've been holding on to it. I don't know when I'm gonna use it. Right now, I have a coupon where I can get $1 off my gas, but I want to save it for emergency situations only. I don't know if right now is the point I can use it, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely making you be aware, watching which gas is cheaper and saving your coupons and all that kind of stuff. But long story short, it's pretty much because of the conflict. When something happens or something pops off, I'll check the data. But I believe when we jumped on Venezuela, I think the oil prices kind of fluctuated, rose a little bit too, and then kind of settled back down. So anytime something like that happens, since oil is a global commodity, it's going to fluctuate or it's going to rise. Now, hopefully it doesn't go back to $5-6 a gallon, but that's the reason.
Yeah. Now, does your Murphy oil, does it have an expiration date, or, I mean, it's just whenever?
No, just 1 hour.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay.
You all better get a Costco Sam's membership. I'm just saying. But anyway, Dan.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on the dollar, whatever, and some change oil prices that somebody said we were going to have. But yet I digress. Look, anytime there's war, yeah, you're right. Anytime there's war, gas usually does go up. And as far as releasing some oil, I believe Trump did order some oil to be released. It's not as much as Biden ordered, but he did order some from the reserve to help alleviate some of the prices. But with them controlling that little canal, strait, whatever you want to call it nowadays, that area of the world, that's a lot of oil. 30% of the world's oil, roughly, being controlled and stopped. Gas prices are going to go through the roof. I personally don't look at the gas and go, oh, this one's 10 cents more. Let me drive over here. Let me drive across town. I'm going to need gas. I'm going to need to do what I need to do. And I just got to suffer at the pump and pay the price. It's going to stop me from doing some things like going out on leisure trips or driving long distance. because I'm not going to want to put in 100, $200 just to fill up my tank, you know? So yeah, it's going to limit my activities. And then when I saw the diesel going up, for me, yeah, I get what they write on all that, but for me personally, I know a lot of our goods, our products, and any other materialistic things get shipped through the diesels. So to Eddie T's point, um, a lot of that diesel, you would think they would raise up, in my personal opinion, because of the fact that you got to get those goods shipped. So what's a better way to make money? You're going to lose money on the low end, as far as gas. Why not make it back off of the diesel? You know, excuse me, as far as unleaded, why not make it back off the diesel? It's kind of a give and take. With this conflict, war, whatever you say going on, we're going to see gas prices continue to rise, and hopefully not too much more, because it's starting to affect a lot of people's activities and a lot of people's pockets. The average consumer can't afford this kind of raise in gas prices.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm waiting on one of my employees to call me and say, "Well, I can't come in today because I can't afford to fill up my gas tank." Should have got an EV. That's all I'm saying. A plug for the EV world. You know what I'm saying? But I'm with you, DJ Eddie T. Sometimes I believe these prices rise because people's pockets aren't big enough, right? Don't get me wrong. I understand what everybody has said, reference everything that's going on in the world today. Just imagine if the Panama Canal was destroyed, right? How much that would increase the price of gas, because now you don't have that little shortcut, right? I do believe there were several countries talking about trying to help stabilize the world regarding oil, right? Disseminating oil. But at the end of the day, I'm not a gas and oil guy. It's unfortunate. I remember when I had my Yukon back in '09, '08, '09, it was like $5 a gallon. Remember when the pumps were cut off, you couldn't put anything more than $85 in your vehicle? I'm like, damn, I still got another quarter tank left, right? So once again, EV life, it's for real. You ain't got to worry about it. But anyway, um, I just, I just really hope that something happens soon, because there are some people who, they're not as fortunate, right? Their earning potential is not as great at this time, and they probably drive quite a few places to drive for a living, right? And it's just unfortunate, right? But in the end, I think it's, some little wizard or dumpy old guy sitting in the corner. Shit, I need to, I need my great great grandchild to go to Harvard. So we're gonna raise the prices up 42 cents. They'll be all right because they need gas. So they're gonna go ahead and pay what is required to fill up their tank. I wonder if people just really stopped going to gas stations. I mean, you can't really do that literally, but I just wonder if I don't know if protests. I remember we talked about protesting, right? What would protesting do in a situation like this? Um, yeah, it's just it's a rough time. Ride the wave, ride the wave. Any alibis, any extra comments? Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, we probably need to get that guy we weren't even thinking when he was running, when he said the gas is too damn high or the rent's too damn high. We need to get him back in here and do something about the gas. Let's vote for him and get these
Yeah,
gas prices down.
I wasn't playing games. Rent is too damn high. What do y'all want me? You expect me to get up here and lie like everybody else? I'm Jimmy McMillian. People know me from the Rent is Too Damn High party. Rent, it's too damn high. So in 2010, I said, this is my opportunity. I ran for governor of the state of New York. I represent the Rent is Too Damn High party. Rent, it's too damn high. Because when I walked out on stage, people started laughing because I had on some karate sneakers. As a karate expert, I will not talk about anyone up here. I had a suit I bought from some for $99, my beard shaped in a way to get their attention. I had made a tie. I had a bounty towel in my pocket.
The topic of gay marriage, do you support it? Yes or no?
If you want to marry the shoe, I'll marry you. Oh, everybody was laughing until I opened my mouth. People are working 8 hours a day and 40 hours a week to some a third job. Once again, why? You said it, the rent is too damn high.
that is hilarious. That is hilarious. It's rough. It's rough. Any other comments about gas? Good, because I don't talk about no gas. You know, I'm joking.
Coming right at the gate with no delay, getting started right away. Got a little bit to say. First off, glory to the Lord each and every day. He's the truth and the life. He's the only way. He's the potter, I'm the clay. What more can I say? Need to get him in your life. Hurry up, out of the way. Getting that out of the way. Now we go on with our day. Gonna keep giving you bars, cause you know my resume. Treat the music like a crime, I'm a predicate. Cause I be murdering beats with the nouns, verbs, and the predicates. Hard, never delicate. No, cause when it comes to a hater, see you later. We gotta stay separate. Bye-bye. Ain't no doubt, I'm the one you can lean on. Man talk searches what I be on. No doubt. Cause every time you turn the beat on, my flow stay hot like a furnace in your house whenever you turn the heat on.
With that, let me see. Let me see. Just like clear communication keeps a relationship running smoothly, keeping an eye out on gas prices keep your wallet from hitting the brakes. That was a good one, right? I got another one for you guys. Rising gas prices remind us of how quickly things can change without warning. Just like if something happened to you or me and we weren't around, it would hit the family hard if nothing was in place. With that, our other topic is about family. If something happened to you, if something would happen to you today, would your family be in order or would things be kind of in disarray? So Dan, yeah, I'll start with you, Dan.
Yeah, something happens to me today. I mean, don't get me wrong. Family probably rejoice. Hopefully, they will be able to handle it. I mean, it is, it's always tragic to lose a family member. Let's just get that out of the way. Oh, things are going to be confusing. Things are going to be rough in the beginning. You got to stick with it and get your wits together. We have our plan in place, as far as being military. You most funeral homes help with your DD 214 and all that. And then they'll help you with your funeral and getting you in the right positions that you need to be in. But we've already talked to our children for our things, and I think they'll be hopefully able to handle that. You can't really say what people can and can't handle, but the actual progressions of what things are supposed to happen has been put in place. Whether or not they can handle it is a different story. I know it was rough on me when I lost my parents, just like it was rough on my brothers and sisters. But the funeral home helped out with a lot of things, and my older sister completed a lot of things, but it wasn't easy, and it was very confusing. And my cousin for my dad, but wasn't easy. And it was very confusing. So, um, those times of distress, you would like to have your affairs in order, and hopefully the people that are left behind are able to follow those directions or able to follow that train of thought or line of thinking to get your final arrangements complied with. Um, but we'll see what happens. I mean, they'll see what happens. I don't wish it on nobody, but we all know our time has come. And as long as you have your final arrangements in somewhat of an order, I think it helps out a lot for the remaining family members.
Standing, brother. Colonel Esquire.
I think, well, I don't want to be racist, but I know a lot of black people, black families. There I am being racist, so there it is. That's a topic that, in my experience, dealing with black families, they don't want to talk about. They just want to, they know it's coming. They know at some point everybody's going to leave this world, but for some reason, we don't want to have that hard conversation. And then when that moment comes, it causes a lot of division and it causes a lot of chaos that could have been avoided if a plan was put in place. And I'm not even, of course, we're going to talk about trusts and wills and all that kind of stuff, but even just the basic conversation of, hey, son, hey, baby girl, this is what I want to happen, when something happens or whatever the case is. Like, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. And I can't speak for anybody else. I can just speak for moments in my own family where I've seen, where my dad passed away or where my aunt passed away. And there was a lot of infighting simply because the decision was made. No, there was no decision. There was no plan put in place, and there's got to be a plan put in place, at least guide your kids in the direction where they need to go. And yeah, you may not have a lot of money to create a trust or whatever the case is. And I say trust because really that's the surefire way to keep your family out of probate. But probate doesn't have to be a bad thing if everybody's on the same sheet of music. If everybody agrees, I mean, yeah, you'll have to wait a little longer to go through the courts. But if you just write something down, hey, I want Pookie Bear to have this, or I want so-and-so to take care of my affairs, or whatever the case is. You just got to have a plan in place. So when you're gone, the only people, your loved ones that you leave behind, can be mad at you for what you wrote instead of mad at each other and trying to assume what you would have wanted. Well, Ephraim would have wanted us to do this. No, Ephraim would have wanted us to do that. No, Ephraim wrote down everything in order. So that way you follow that plan when I'm gone, and I think that's the biggest lesson I think we all need to take is just have a plan in place. A lot of people think they got to spend a lot of money to go to a lawyer, have something drafted. You can just have a simple list of instructions in your safe. Somebody can find them, and it'll make things a whole lot smoother because, it's just horrible. I've learned that death will either bring a family together or tear them apart. And in my situations, it's torn us apart. So that's it for me.
Quick question, Colonel Squire. Great points. But who's Pookie Bear? Okay, my bad. Okay, go ahead, DJ Eddie T.
We all know who Pookie Bear is, just like Day Day. We know Day Day, so same thing. I love what you guys have stated, and I have to commend my father. That's the only close death that I've had to deal with. When he lived here in Oklahoma, before he moved to Texas with us, he would have conversations with me. And I mean, he would always lead it, and just like Colonel Esquire would say, "Hey, I don't want to talk about this," but he would talk about it, and he taught me, because the first time he had brought it up, I was like, "Man, I don't want to talk about that," and he was like, "Yeah, I know you don't." He said, "But this is something that needs to be spoken on," and so he said, "Hey, this is everything. This is taken care of." I mean, he had his plot. Man, he paid for his plot back when he was in his 30s. I mean, it was just like, wow. And luckily, the records keeper in Okmulgee, still had everything. But the person that he wanted to do it, I mean, he had his life insurance policy. I mean, everything was just in order. I'm glad that he had everything in order, to the point to where, like I said, me being an only child, it made it simple for everything just to fall in place. But as far as I'm concerned, yes, everything is in order. The life insurance policy, because I hate to see, Colonel Esquire stated, I hate to see Black people scramble, having, benefit dinners and, to try to bury someone. I mean, you see commercials all the time. You can get life insurance for, I don't know, let's say it's pennies on the dollar, but I don't know what type of life insurance that is. Um, I mean, why not make that phone call and see? So it won't be so hard on the family. I guess they figure, well, I'm gone. I ain't got to worry about it. I'll let them worry about it, type thing. So, but yes, I think that this is a topic that not just Black families, but all families, should have in place, and have, some sort of something to go to when that time comes. Because we're at the age now where we have more days behind us than we do in front of us.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I had a cousin that passed away a couple years ago, and it was out of the blue, naturally, because we all think we're going to live in our 70s, 80s, 90 years of age. And she didn't have anything in place. And I was like, oh man, how do I help the family? So I created a GoFundMe. I felt kind of strange doing it, but I was like, yo, everybody else do it. Why not do it? Whatever I can get to help the family. it's unfortunate sometimes things like that happen. And I've been a little bit more on the game since then, like with my parents. I can't get them to do a will, but what I did get them to do was add me to like their bank accounts and things of that nature. So if something does happen, I can at least still have access to funds to take care of certain things. I know my father, I spoke to him about, hey, you have whatever you have, you can't have my brother's name listed because it's, when you talk about probate, imagine going to probate, but then you have a sibling that, is a warrant of the state or, you can't really, he can't speak, right? So that's a whole nother hurdle, right? There's so many things that coincides with when we depart this earth that we just, we all need to check the block, Hopefully there's a checklist out there. I know on TikTok and YouTube, you got all these folks out there trying to sell you on, the beatitudes of when you pass on, right? So I just really encourage, folks to talk to someone that that lost someone and that was probably close to them that they had true intimate relations with, that could probably help them get through the scenario. I won't lie to you. I listened to Colonel Esquire, listen to Dan, listen to you, DJ ADT, about things that y'all gone through and have witnessed, and it's helped me, put things in place. And like Colonel Esquire said, all you gotta do is write it down. Write it down.
Write it down, make it plain.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
Whether you have a large or small estate, we're going to go over the 7 basic documents and areas that everyone should include in their estate plan. Insurance. Life, home, and even good auto insurance can help protect your loved ones from your liabilities and financial burdens, as well as secure their future when you pass. For example, accidental death auto insurance benefits pays for death expenses in covered accidents, and so do certain life insurance plans. Without specific types of coverage, your family may have to pay out of pocket for death expenses. Moreover, if you have lots of debt or owe significant taxes, it would be wise to obtain life insurance to protect your family from your obligations. Beneficiary designations. Some assets can be transferred upon death without needing to designate them to someone in a formal will. Depending on your state, this may include bank accounts, retirement and other financial accounts, real estate, motor vehicles, and other accounts or assets. Make sure to update your beneficiaries on these accounts regularly. If you forget to remove an ex-spouse before you pass, it would be difficult for your intended beneficiary to collect. Write out a living will. A living will lists out your medical wishes should you be faced with an incapacitating event, and it is only used once you can no longer make your own medical decisions. The document is used to guide medical staff and can be scanned into your local hospital database. Name powers of attorney. A power of attorney is a document that designates an agent to legally stand in your shoes and take care of certain wishes. The 2 main powers of attorney are durable and medical. Durable powers involve financial, business, and legal decisions. Your agent can be made responsible for your bank accounts, real estate, insurance, personal property, taxes, and much more. If you didn't have a designated agent, loved ones may have to go to court to get approval to access your accounts and pay your bills. Medical powers designate a healthcare agent and allow this agent to make medical decisions for the principal in the event that they are unable to do so themselves. The medical powers only activate once the principal is no longer of sound mind, and this type of power of attorney is best used in combination with a living will. Make a last will and testament. Your will is where you can decide exactly who gets property and possessions that aren't governed by beneficiary or joint ownership designations. If you have minor children, your will is also where you can list guardianship designations. After your passing, your beneficiaries would need to attend probate court to collect any disbursements. Create a living trust. A trust is a way to bypass probate court and minimize estate taxes, and it's another way to handle and disperse property after someone's passing. The title of property is transferred from your name to that of the living trust, but you are the trustee and wield all power related to the trust. You can sell and add property to the trust, and when you pass, the person you appoint as your successor trustee handles disbursement to your beneficiaries without the need for probate court. Review tax laws. Some, but not all states charge hefty estate inheritance taxes. There are ways to minimize these taxes, such as shielding your assets in a trust or gifting assets before you pass. Because each state is different, it is best to review estate and inheritance taxes specific to your state.
That's a tough one. Now, I remember we talked about this before. I think it was like in November we talked about it. And I think going into the close of the year, we were supposed to see exactly how far along we got with doing certain things for our families. So just curious to know if you all were able to do that. I know Dan, well, by being military, naturally, you got the DD-214, so on and so forth. But does everybody here at least have something basic in place that will help should you transition? Or even if you're still on Earth, but you can't speak, you're immobilized, you can't do anything. Do you have a medical power of attorney or a regular power of attorney or something to, assist your family?
Well, I would say that I have attempted to do things for other family members, and they didn't want to do it. It's something about, if there's a thing called, transferable upon death. So basically, I have a house. When I die, I want to give it to my daughter. But a lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people don't want to, for example, where my mom resides, the deed is in my name already. So that's one less thing I have to transfer. And there are some people who don't want to do that because they don't feel like it's their house. If they're living in a place that their name's not on the deed, it's their house. And I'm like, that's not how it works. If you get up every day, go to bed every day in that place, and you cook and clean and you live there and watch TV, that's your house. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like a landlord, like a corporation. Like it's your daughter that owns the house. It's a life estate basically. Like it doesn't, but I digress off that. But there are some people who just don't feel like it's their house if they're signing it away to somebody else, but they don't realize the ramifications that they're causing, for their loved ones to take care of it after you pass away. But to answer your question, yes, I still need to do something for myself. And I know that, I have been lazy since I know that, my wife and I are still married and we're still together. So if one of us goes, everything else automatically transfers to the spouse, the surviving spouse. But I need to have something in case, like say we're in a plane and we both go down together or whatever the case is. At least for another few months, because I know my daughter is still 17. She'll be 18 this summer, but tomorrow's not promised, as we all know. So I need to have something in place just for that, emergency situation. But do you deal with certain people that don't want to sign they don't want to sign the property over. They don't want to sign the stuff over. And I don't know, and mentally they think that, I'm going to die soon now that I've signed everything over. No, it's just you're putting the plan in place. And it's just hard for a lot of people to do that.
Yeah. It's interesting you said that, Colonel Esquire, because I'm dealing with that with my mother's husband. He had siblings naturally before marrying my mom, and all his siblings, like, we don't want the house, right? And then one of his granddaughters in the house, and she was trying to get him, because he still owes a couple dollars on the home. She was trying to get him to add her name to the deed, but she didn't want to pay what was remaining on his loan. And my mother overheard the conversation. She reached out to me. I immediately got people on the phone. Hey, look, this is the deal, But anyway, I say all that to say, I think when you deal with people who don't have a circle of friends to talk to or are knowledgeable in certain areas, they just go on what they think. They don't go on what they know. And sometimes when people go on what they know and then they leave, it makes it even worse, because now the people that are remaining have to go through and cross the T's and dot the I's, and that costs a lot of money in probate. But Dan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, everybody has their own desires and wishes. But for me and my wife, we still have to do that final piece, like um making sure everything's in line so that nobody can come outside or the state can't come in and jump in or do what they do. But I'm not gonna, you know, worry about it too much since my wife did talk to the kids. I have not. I'm not gonna lie. But my wife did, and she has sat down with them and made a course of actions and the way things should go. Also, we did talk to our kids about having life insurance, or she did. So she made sure that they have their own life insurance also, so that it can at least help with the funeral costs or help with this or help with that. But we that's a final piece of the puzzle that we need to put together, and we'll see where we go from there. But we still have to get together and figure that
Oh,
piece out.
yes, I'd say that for the most part, I won't say, what percentage of that goal that, I have completed, but um but yes, I have taken the steps to get things more closer in order. But the good thing about it, I won't say the good thing. I mean, my wife, she doesn't have children, and I do have children. So with that being said, it makes things a little simpler. As Colonel Esquire stated, if something were to happen to both of us at the same time, we know that, hey, boom, it would go to them. But my wife does have siblings. So I don't know if that plays a role. That may be something that I need to check into. But I know that that may play a role and may not. But anyway, hey, that's my sister. I'm not, like Colonel Esquire had stated again. There might be something that she would have wanted me to have, or all of that stuff. So um, yes, I do have some things in order, but no, I don't. So
Yeah.
my goal is to still get it, my checklist, all the boxes checked and get all squared away. But let me go back to something that Colonel Esquire had stated about the transfer on death deed. He helped me a bunch with that because I know my dad had things in place because I do own a home in Tulsa, and um, there was something with some paperwork to where you had to, once a person passed away who left you something, you have to get with the state and let them know, hey, this person has gone on. And I didn't know that there was a time period with that. I just thought that, hey, there's some paperwork, it's already in place. I have a copy of it. It states that it's mine, but that's not the case. So you have to go through the proper channels to make sure that you do all of that. And kudos to Colonel Esquire. I'm so glad that he went to law school, just because for my benefit. Other than that, I could care less. But for my benefit, he was able to help me. So I appreciate you, Colonel Esquire. But all jokes aside, yeah. Um, hey, see if you see me, yeah. But no, appreciate you guys.
Gotcha. Just always remember process and procedures, people. So, with all that great stuff, y'all got any comments for the great audience out there before we close?
Yeah, I do. later on tonight, I'm going to be the guest speaker at the old high school I used to teach at before becoming a lawyer. And one of the things I'm going to talk to them about is military service for those out there considering military service. First and foremost, everybody, all the troops out there, active duty, regardless of the branch, keep your head up, keep your heads on a swivel, stay encouraged. Every generation has their war or their conflict. This is yours. So, fellow alumni, fellow retired person, I support you. Keep you in my prayers. Keep fighting a good fight. But I'm going to talk to them about don't let this discourage you from military service. I know that a lot of people are frustrated with the current administration, justifiably so. I'm not going to say you're wrong for that or whatever. I'm just saying that the one good thing about the military is that it's for the most part, it's apolitical. And for the most part, people still, America in general, still have a very high favorable opinion of the military. And despite all the conflicts that the three of us have been in our careers, we've been able to survive and maintain and still, have a good quality of life. So don't let the media, don't let, fear deter your decision from joining the military if that's what the path you were on. So that would be what I'm going to tell them tonight. And that would be what I tell my audience right now. All 15 of them out there.
Awesome.
17.
Thank you, sir. Thunder Dan.
Everybody be out there, be safe. Much respect, to echo what Colonel Esquire was saying. Much respect to the troops out there. Stay safe. Hold your head up. It gets better. And hopefully everything will turn out the way it needs to turn out. One way or another, you'll be all right out, we hope. And tip my hat to the service members that lost their life. And send my love out to their families. All I can say is, hopefully everybody, the same thing I always say, treat people how you would want to be treated, and hopefully we can all get along.
Thank you, sir. DJ Eddie T.
Yeah, being that I always like to take this moment to salute you, brothers. No pun intended, but literally salute you for what you have done for us and for our country. I am the only non-military one in the group here, and again, I commend you guys for everything and the time that you spent in the military. I wish that there was a point to where people could join the military but not have to worry about fighting all the time. As Colonel Esquire is going to speak on tonight, I know, and I may get some backlash from this, but people join the military for different reasons. But I think a lot of people join the military to not fight. So it's like, hey, this is the way out. But the real reason why you're in there is in case something were to break out. It's just like being a police officer. You want to join the force, but when something goes down, you don't want to get shot at. So it's like, okay, well, I mean, really, why did you join the police force? Did you join the fire department to not fight fires? I mean, that's your whole point. So don't be discouraged. I mean, I never took that step because my mind wasn't where it should have been, but I should have taken that step. I would have been the fourth of the group here. So I feel like an outcast when certain subjects come up, but I want to be selfish at times when I hear of, in the Bible, as they say, rumors of war, because I have two young men who are prime age to go if anything were to ever happen. I know that they're not enlisted, but if there was a draft, to ever happen, I would not want them to go. But hey, again, we have to do what we have to do. But we just have to stay prayed up and make sure that our families are taken care of and our country as well. So, but again, thank you guys.
Big ups to those out there fighting the good fight. Stay encouraged, stay positive, stay in tune, watch your left, your right, watch your six, and know there's always tomorrow. Being a service member, I think I was the first one to join. When I joined, I didn't know what the hell I was joining. To your point, DJ ADT, I was just in the reserves. I was just trying to get a couple extra dollars to go to school. I wasn't thinking my number would be called. But I would tell you, the brotherhood, regardless of what branch of service you're in, that really prevails. And let's just hope it does during this conflict that we're in today. Thinking about what happens if we're no longer here reminds us how important it is to plan, communicate, and make sure our loved ones are prepared. Life is unpredictable. And while we can't control everything, we can leave clarity, guidance, and love behind. With that in mind, I want to close by emphasizing the importance of living intentionally, supporting one another, and taking steps today that makes tomorrow a little easier for those we care about. So, brothers, thank you for today. Please hit the subscribe button and post your comments. We thank each of you and your support. Continue to spread the seeds of love and respect. Until next time, we the four brothers from down under are saying peace,